Hello, hello, and welcome to episode 92 of No Particular Reason. I'm Yanko, as you guys know, and Kerri isn't here yet. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully, she'll join us a little bit later down the stream and uh, have something exciting to share with you guys. Anyways, I would like to start by saying I hope you all, or I believe all of you, had a nice, a wonderful holiday and looking forward to the weekend. Some people are still working on Friday, and as myself, I'm off and looking forward to having a wonderful weekend off with family, and we'll see how that goes. Now, let's see. Last time I talked about consciousness, and most of you already know. A lot of the times we discuss those things on the podcast or in the live here. We discussed a lot of the things that we share. And one sec. Sorry about that. I had a little bit of disturbance that I had to address, but here we are, and sometimes that happens on the stream. So a lot of the time to talk about the mind, at least I like to talk about the mind, the conscious, the subconscious mind, and how they all play together. And this is why I also do hypnotism. I love getting people to connect with their deeper mind and the conscious, subconscious, and all those things. And why I talk about consciousness the way I do, it's because most people that come to hypnosis, they don't come to hypnosis curiously, with a curious point of view. They come stuck, and they already try logic and willpower and affirmations. And most of the time, sometimes that works, but most of the times, there is a need a little something a little more, and and that's because the issue, it's rarely the problem they're thinking it is, um, because consciousness doesn't show up in patterns and concepts. It can be solved with logic. Most of the stuff happens on the other side of the brain, on the right side of the brain, where we're doing creative work, and we get inspirations to create in other things. Where the left side, it's more of the logic, arithmetics, and things that we talk about on a day-to-day basis. So all together as becoming one, left and right, um, gets us going through the day-to-day. And I also like to invite anybody on the stream that's watching us live or watching me live to comment, share, ask questions, or anything. I'm really here to answer any questions and invite with you guys. But mostly it's Friday. I have a nice cup of coffee and rambling about things that I get inspired, because the show, it's no particular reason. So again, I invite anybody that has comments, anything, to chat, ask, or even join the show. That'll be nice. So, what I'm noticing in people over and over, I'm noticing that people are thinking that they're choosing in different situations, but the reality of things is that they're reacting based on what's going on emotionally inside, or motion loop and repeats in different phases. in um, in that side alone doesn't create change. It just is just there. The body often knows before the mind admits it that there's something going on. And sometimes I see that in colleagues or myself when you allow the thing to happen when the person is in outer state of being where they're more aware of like emotions, body sensations, and other things. It helps them realize what's going on, or at least get some awareness of what's going on before that even happens. And majority of people are just going and autopilot, me including. Sometimes I do that as well. And I can't stress enough how this could be helpful if you're doing some sort of practice, walking meditation or sitting meditation or some sort of mindfulness where you're allowing thing to just happen and you observe it as they do. That brings you more awareness of like what's going on in the very moment. And that brings me into what awake looks like in real life, not, online or somewhere. Noticing the reaction as it's happening, it's the thing. And most people, when they're on that state, they stop defending the old story of whatever that happening is. um, they feel the emotion without needing to explain it. You just observe it as it unfolds, but you're not getting tangled in it because, again, you're reacting to the old story the way you were reacting in the past. and um, and there's less urgency to be right, especially if you're having some kind of dialogue with somebody, and there's no need to react in any way. You're just fully there, you're present, you see what's happening. And and the big misconceptions I see happens is um, that thing removes the fear and the discomfort. And I brushed about it on the last stream that I did, and it's quite opposite. You fully feel it, you're present, but there's no need to control it. You just see it as is. In the best way I can describe it is as watching a sunrise or sunset, or just watching the sun moving through the sky. It's something that's happening. You don't need to control it. You don't do anything. It's just there. In reality, awareness brings discomfort first. So, because this has been going on for a while, then obviously it's not. um, and usually the resistance that's happening, it's the indicator of what hasn't been reached out yet, because you're resisting it in a one way or another. And then that allows to, and that's the best thing, at least to me. When I notice it, I go in and wants to find out what was deeply embedded unconscious it up, and get that awareness. And awareness just prevails. It doesn't protect, it doesn't do anything. It just comes up to what is. And that brings me into thinking that, well, not thinking, but brings me into talking about like how hypnosis actually helps in this kind of situations. And it slows the system down enough to notice. It again, I want to start up by just repeating myself because I've seen that over and over. That hypnosis, it's another tool to bring you in that outer state where more stuff can happen. It's not the only tool. There is other tools. Holotropic breathing can bring you in and out the state of mind. Um, Meditation, a lot of the times when you go within, you shut the external, and that brings awareness. Um, um, Ceremonies. That's why people were doing them in the past. Drumming circles can bring you in and out the state of mind. Um, Cacao ceremonies are a beautiful thing. They can help you go within with intention, with the right setting. It's actually very, very beautiful and empowering to do one of those. But circle back, hypnosis actually slows down enough the thinking, the inner critic, to bypass the overthinking without suppressing it. And again, you're not like unconscious, you're fully there. You're just operating in a different state of mind when you have more access to awareness and more access to yourself or what you think to be yourself. And it allows your subconscious to speak in images and feelings again because right side of the brain to activate. So you might experience vision, sounds, and things like it. um, and in the best part of it, it gives you clarity without the force. So you're not forcing anything to happen. It just is kind of like anything else. It's a beautiful thing. Um, so what people discover in hypnosis, it's not about what they thought about it is, because again, consciously you can think and based on whatever it's happening, or sometimes you make a conclusion, but that really isn't the thing. Or um, or they discover that they've been reacting to someone else's belief system because they've been told, just like that someone else that's influencing him, that this is the proper way or this is the wrong or right way to do it. And Or they find out that their reaction made sense at the time when whatever thing was happening happened. um, um, and in those situations, compassion naturally replaces judgment in yourself or anybody else's that it's experiencing the thing in the situation. So awakening is not about becoming someone else. It's not about getting a new mask or new persona or you becoming something else. Um, no belief system, it's imposed. You don't have to take up on a new belief. It's actually subtracting, not adding to what one believe. In There's space and more signals, and that might feel to someone that they're on the right path because they're getting whatever it's unveiled that they weren't noticing about before. Um, Another misconception I see often happen is that people try to control thoughts to be conscious, um, which usually it's not the way to go, at least to my to my experience. In some of the Eastern philosophies, they even have like the journeys written out, like you're trying to, hop on wild buffalo, or some compare the mind to the monkey mind that jumps from branch to branch to branch. And control usually does not allow to do things. Um, um, Control works the other way. It tightens the loop, um, and awareness loosens up. Um, and then choices appear after awareness, not before. So it's kind of like a tricky situation if one it's going about to find out about themselves. And so, what shifts when awareness lands? Emotional charges softens as you see it as what. Um, there's often no need to control it. You're just present of what's unfolding in that moment, and because of that, your perspective widens. You're not concentrating in one thing and not seeing variety of choices. You expand, and you have more options to choose from. Um, and because of that, all decisions lose. You are not as likely to react the way you're reacting, and everything changes without effort because of that. You, it's actually like the some of the teachings of the Wu Wei, the doing without doing. It's weird to explain, but it's once you start experimenting with those concepts or find some kind of practice, then you would know it'll become more obvious to what I'm talking about. So from experience, you notice the trends without finding it, um, because you've been doing that a lot. You stop identifying with every thought. You don't claim the thoughts as, oh, this is my thought, this is my thought, this other thing is my thought. Um, and you respond instead of reacting, which is very powerful to be able to respond instead of reacting. Um, and you trust your internal signals more and more the more you do that. Um, what I remind people is that you don't need to um, awaken harder. Um, you need to notice sooner or be present because consciousness is already present. And that goes again with some of the Eastern teachings that everything is. It's a one happening. It's consciousness. Everything is conscious. Even um, rock tree or whatever. And this has been a thing even like millennia ago, before religions start to become what they are now and all that. So to sum it up, hypnosis simply help you hear it, as a tool, as an instrument to do it. And is closing thoughts. I'm not gonna go and ramble a lot. Oh, good morning, Bonnie. I was paying attention to the comments. I'm happy that you joined again. I believe you had a wonderful holiday, and nice to see you showing up in the live stream. But as I was saying, I'm not gonna go ramble up along like I did last week. I just don't feel like doing it today. Plus, it's the holiday. Most people are probably still in bed after partying for a long time last night. At least I noticed I had some friends come over last night, and I noticed that because I live in an apartment building, that a lot of my neighbors were still partying, and things were going on even after 11. So yeah. So as a closing thought, I want to say that most people um, aren't asleep. They're just not aware of what's going on. They're just listening to the story that hasn't been questioned, if that makes any sense. And I'm not talking about one thing in particular. I'm just talking about different beliefs in things that we took as we are. Um, I strongly believe that when we become in this world, we didn't know who we are. We didn't have a name. Our parents give us our name, language, taught us how to walk, do different things. This is good. This is bad. This thing or another. And then as we progress as growing society also starts saying, oh, this is what you're supposed to do, or um, learn this thing, or get a degree in certain field, whatever. So that's how usually programming happens. And then after a while you get accustomed to it, and you stop questioning it. It's kind of like the bird in the cage. Once it's comfortable in the cage, even if you open the doors of the cage, the bird will never want to go out of the cage, because that's all it knows. It's being preconditioned to be okay in the cage. So in some cases, people are okay with that. They don't want to do anything like that. Um, yeah, thanks, Bonnie. Let's see more comments. Oh, I don't know. Sometimes I just kind of feel calm, and I don't feel like I have to be animated or whoa, all that other things. I just felt like that way today. So yeah. But I apologize if I managed to bring somebody deeper in what is. And with that, if you guys have any other comments, questions, or anything, I'm gonna wrap it up. Just gonna give it a little bit of time for anybody, if anybody wants to say, share anything before we close it up. Unfortunately, Kiri, um, but again, we do this show for no particular reason, and we show up when we can, and we don't when we don't. It all depends on whatever, whatever flows your boat. It's probably, I don't know about you guys. I'm so looking forward to not doing anything. Thanks, Bonnie. Again, I'm very happy that you support our show and you vibe with us every Friday and you show up just like we do. Greatly appreciate it, and wishing you a wonderful weekend. Oh, me too. I'm glad I was here. Again, like I said, I no particular reason, just cup of coffee, computer, and you guys. Doesn't get any better than that. You guys are awesome. So I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you showing up, asking questions, commenting, and doing all the things that you do. So um, we'll see if I have more inspiration to talk to you about consciousness, awareness, subconscious, all that stuff next time. Usually we go different routes every time. So, and I don't know how next Friday will work, because that'll be the last Friday for this year, believe it or not. But I'm very excited about next year and looking forward to having more guests on the show, more viewers like yourself, and yeah, more fun, more party. All right. With that, I'm gonna wish you a wonderful day, rest of your day, weekend, everything else. Take care of yourselves. Have fun.